Alright, hello everyone, I want to welcome to the third installment of Figuring Out Fatherhood. Today I'm with my boy Harry, Big H.
Yeah.
Talk to us, fam. Where can you find your social media first and foremost?
The only thing I've got is Instagram.
Yeah.
And that's H, not Harry. So H, Haychach, and then not Harry, Harry.
Tell us about yourself, Harry. What do you do? How old are you?
So I'm 28. I'm a project manager in construction. I've worked for various local councils, so I'm trying to get into sort of contracting and that now. That's the route I'm trying to go down.
Okay, let's go right into it. So I know you got a son. What's his name?
Bailey.
How old is he?
He's gonna be 5 in December.
So you were, what, 22, 23?
I was 22. I was 23 when he actually came.
Yeah,
23. But I was 22 when I found out.
Talk us through the whole thing. So how did you feel when you found out you're having a baby?
I'm gonna be honest. I wasn't happy.
Of course.
Yeah, You know what it was? My relationship with my son's mum. I like to say it's multifaceted. You understand?
One word to you.
Trust me. So you're kind of trying to deal with the whole having a baby thing and trying to get to know the person.
Course,
so it's tough, man. You know what I mean? So I was mainly, I've got a great relationship with my father. So I know I've always known the kind of father I wanted to be.
Of course.
So I kind of felt like I wasn't going to be able to do that, which is kind of what made me.
Okay.
You get me? That's more of it. It wasn't really having the child. It was more of the like, I don't want to be like, you know what I mean?
One of those ones.
Man. That was kind of my driving force behind not wanting to.
Of course.
Have the baby. You know what I'm saying? But of course, we love Bailey Bells.
Yeah. So how did you adjust? So the main topic for this conversation today is the change in lifestyle. How did you adjust your lifestyle to factor in? Because keep in mind, so you had it at 23, so you found out at 22, I'm assuming. Yeah, so what changes did you make? So you found out you're having Bailey at 22, I'm assuming. So how did you change your lifestyle at that point in time? So what were you actually doing at that point when you found out?
I was probably doing some things I shouldn't have been doing. I wasn't employed, put it like that. But you get me? So I transitioned from a certain lifestyle to a more legitimate lifestyle. Okay. So I actually my first job was actually Marks and Spencer's, funny enough. So obviously you don't make a lot of money at Marks and Spencer's, so that was a whole nother obstacle, I'll say. But I went from M&S, and then, I don't know how I heard about it, but Southwark Council had an apprenticeship scheme. Okay. So I went through there and then I didn't even know what project management was, but I just knew it paid the most out of all of the apprenticeships. I just know it paid the most, so I went with that one. Did that for 2 years, which was again very difficult because you're working. I also set up a property management company at the time. Yeah, so I was working 9 to 5, come home, doing the other work, and then having to study as well, and also look after Bailey as well. Do you know what I'm saying? Because those times I had him every single weekend. Really? So no breaks at all. For I think the first 2.5 years of his life, every weekend. So it was tough, man. It was tough, but anyway, I done my apprenticeship, finished that, became qualified as a project manager, and then started getting better jobs, and that's kind of where I'm at now.
Okay, so that was the changes you made back then. So on a day-to-day, so as Bailey grows up, you want to be more in his life, going by what you said earlier on. So how do you accommodate that? What changes have you made?
Do you know what? I think the kind of person I am, I'm very much like, my head is always in the future. Okay. Do you understand? So I'm always thinking, all right, cool, I got a son, I want to make sure that when he's 10, he's got this, he's got that, he's set up, like, you know what I mean, he's good financially. So I think, like, my work ethic is a lot. Yeah. Yeah, so sometimes, like, and one of the really good things about his mum is that she always kind of gave me that perspective to be like, I know you're trying to do the most for the future, but sometimes you also got to look at the now as well. So I kind of had to adjust my work family balance, especially in the beginning, more in the middle actually, when he was about 1-ish, because in the beginning I was pretty like with him, you know what I'm saying? So that's probably one of the main things I've kind of struggled with on my journey, is just like finding that work and life balance. Do you know what I mean? I know, like, as dads, we always want to want to do like put the provider hat on. You know what I'm saying? So you kind of go a bit crazy on that sometimes, and I think not so much on the.
And what's your lifestyle like now? So what would the typical week in the life of Harry be like? Considering what you said to me about work and telling your son, what's a typical work? What's the good week in your life like?
Well, I'll go to work. So so 5 a.m. I hit the gym, go to work. Yeah. I'm an early person. I'm a morning guy, man. So hit the gym in the morning. I'll go to work 9-5. Come home, might eat a dinner, whatever. Then I get onto the property management thing. So then that sort of takes me out of the house a lot as well. Come back, it's probably like 12, 1 a.m. Start the cycle again, man. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Bro, that's literally, that's why like now no one can really get me on the phone. It's hard to get me on the phone. It's hard to see me like
how do you
working.
See daily each week?
I have him, so right now I've got him 2 weekends every month. So I have him for 2 consecutive weekends. And then his mum has him on the 3rd weekend. Then I have him again for 2 weekends. It's very complicated. Right? It's not my plan. Initially, so I always used to have him every weekend, and then we actually moved in together. So we were living together for about a year. And then when I moved out of the house, and then I actually wanted to have him for 3 weekends out of the month, but that didn't really suit both of our schedules. Right. So then it ended up me having him 2 of the weekends, and then she has him for the 3rd one, and then But I see him a lot. So I'll take him to school. I'll take him to school sometimes. Pick him up from school sometimes. So kind of whenever it's convenient, kind of thing, really. Yeah.
Okay, and so this is more of like a personal. It's more about you, and not about your son. How has having a child impacted your dating life? So, because you mentioned that you're not with his mum at this point in time. So how has that impacted your dating life?
But do you know what? To be honest, it hasn't actually impacted my dating life directly. Okay. So, because of the work ethic, I don't have time to really date I used to be able to. But it hasn't really impacted like my interactions with, or like my, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, it hasn't really impacted. So yeah, man. If anything, work.
Still get the girls, yeah.
No, I didn't say any of that. I never said that. Wee. But
okay, fair enough. And how has it impacted? Okay, so you told us about work. You told us about you go to the gym. So, just what advice would you give to expectant dads, like in regards to lifestyle? Because some people they try to do lifestyle, even though they have a kid on the way or they have a child. So, what advice would you give an expectant father at this point in time?
Wait, there's so much advice I'd give.
Lay it all out. Listen, we've got time.
What advice would I give fathers? First things first, I would say you need to get your life in, like, you need to prioritize what's important to you. I know, like, a lot of, especially in our generation, you see a lot of, like, Balenciaga babies and Gucci Gaga babies, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? But
I'm not a Gucci Gaga baby.
But I think it's so important to prioritize and understand what's actually important. And I think if you are having a child with somebody, you need to really be on the same kind of wavelength mentally, because so much more goes into raising a child than just sort of paying for a child or seeing a kid on the weekends. It's really a collaborative effort to raise another human, like to sort of like curate the mind of another human being, and you need to be on the same page as much as you can to be able to do that. I think for expectant fathers, I think the relationship between the two parents is something that really needs to be worked on, and it took me a long time to kind of get to that stage, because I'm very much like, I don't want to say my way or the highway, but I'm very like, things should be done like this and things should be done like that.
Yeah.
But it took me a long, because I was quite young when I had my child, so it took me a long time to like understand that you need to work with the person, and especially for fathers, like one of the things I struggled with is that I felt like I had to take a back seat a lot. And like I said, I've got I have a really good example of a father. Do you understand? So I came into it like, well, like my dad is like, you know, he's very heard and very seen.
Okay.
Do you understand what I'm saying? So then for me to be like I got to take a back seat. What? Like I'm King Kong in this. Like, you know what I mean? So I was like, that was a struggle for me, man. So I think you got to work on your patience, man. You got to have patience. You got to have patience with that.
You got to have a lot of patience,
bro. The main thing I'll say is patience, because there's so many things you wanna put in place, you wanna do, and you know, you don't wanna create any type of. So you know, you got to prioritize the child. You understand? So whatever's good for the child, that's what you got to focus on.
Like, especially as a man, you feel that sometimes you wanna. I don't want to say establish your authority, but you want to...
100%, man.
You don't want to... What's the word I want? You don't want to be invisible.
Bro, you don't.
You don't want to be invisible.
And the thing is, I feel like a lot of the time, if you allow yourself to become invisible, it's easy. It's very easy to be pushed into that kind of direction. Do you understand? So you're right. Like it's not so much about like dominating anybody. It's more about just like, I'm a father and I'm here. Do you understand me? And I think especially when the child is young, they need to know that. That's their father's presence.
Yeah,
do you understand? So I think that was something I really struggled with in the beginning, but as time's gone on.
I respect it, because I feel like our experiences they're a bit different. Well, they're quite different, because I didn't really have a father to like look up to like that. So for me, I kind of had to. I watched you, like I watched you a lot, because you had baby about 3 years behind my daughter as well. So I watched a lot of what you did to try and. I picked up bits and pieces. Not just you as well. I have a good friend called Ade. He's been on the next episode.
Okay.
I watched quite a bit of what they did, what you guys did, and just I tried to pick up tips. That's what I used to come to you like. What you and Derek as well, like what you do. So it's more like you need. For me, it was like my daughter's mum. I would say she's driving the ship. Like she's the captain of the ship.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it hurts me to say that, but she's my daughter's primary carer, innit? So it's just like. I can say what I want, I can make all the noise I want, but when I'm not there,
man.
Like, so
it's so true.
Yeah, but like it's all about establishing your presence as the father in your child's life. So I definitely hear what you're saying. But what other tips have you got for us, please? I know you got more. I know you got a bag of tips.
I got gems, baby.
How about managing the relationship with the child's mom? How do you manage?
Do you know? Well, like I said, it's a very multifaceted relationship, isn't it? So we've gone through different stages of being different things to each other, right? So in the beginning, we were just trying to like get to know. Man, that was tough, man. We were trying to get to know who each other were, because we just didn't know. And then obviously you got this, this massive commitment that's coming that you both have to be a part of. So then obviously we were in a relationship. So I think in terms of managing, like the managing it depends on, I think, what stage you are. But one thing I've always been told is always go for the compromise.
Of course.
And again, that can be difficult when you're a proud kind of. You know what I mean? You gotta go for the King Kong in this thing, man. You gotta go for the compromise, man. Like you kind of have to learn to put your pride aside. A lot of the time, it gets you a lot further than guns blazing. Do you know what I mean? Think of a rational. Man.
For me, I feel like, especially the first couple of months, like one thing I don't like, I hate being told what to do.
Boy, bro.
Like, I hate being told what to do. So I remember, I'll never forget this. And the funny thing is, she was actually looking for my best interest at the time, but I just couldn't see beyond the fact that I was getting told what to do.
Right.
So I was very resistant to like, why should I do it? So she was like, I just spent more time with my daughter to build a relationship. I was like, nah, what I'm doing right now is enough, and that's it. That's all I am doing.
Right.
For no reason, just for the fact that she told me to do it. So sometimes you just gotta, that's some good advice, man. Just one more tip.
like I'm the dad guru or something.
You've been doing this for 5 years.
Yeah, no, for real. So, okay, let me think of one like solid. Okay, one thing I'll say, even though I know I've said a lot of things about putting your pride aside, and like, you kind of also need to like be firm with what you're. The mistake I think I made, right, was that compromise thing. Sometimes I took it too far, and there's a lot of things that are very important to me that I didn't really fight for, or I didn't put my foot down on particular things that were very important to me.
Is stuff you can tell us, or just not? You don't have to.
Yeah. I can, certain things like, like things like names.
Okay.
Yeah, like, so obviously I'm Ghanaian, my dad is Ghanaian. The lineage of my fathers and grandfathers, we all pass down our names to our sons. Yeah. So my son is Bailey Nidodu Dodu. I'm Harry Niamu Dodu. So we're all named after our grandfathers, basically. So that was something that was a tough thing for me. And that even caused some conflict between me and my dad, because he was telling me to go in sort of like one direction with it. And then obviously my son's mom wanted to go a whole another direction with it. So I knew, obviously I wanted to honor the lineage, you understand? So I felt like things that you're really like, that are very important to you and that sort of have meaning, I think you should really try to protect those things. It's kind of hard when you're in a position where you don't really know the other person that well, because everyone's kind of fighting for, well, it's my child in the beginning, and it can be like, especially when you're young. So I feel like, yeah, that's another thing I would say. If you know that there's things that are really important to you, I think you gotta really try to protect that, man.
Nah, that's some really good. Even I'm taking stuff. See, this is why I come to you, because you got advice for us, man.
Telling you, man. You have to, man.
Nah, man, I'm so glad you came on this, man. I really appreciate this. This is episode 3, figuring out fatherhood.
Come on, man.
So where can you set social media?
I'm gonna come back for episode 6, man.
I respect it, man.
On, man.
You said you got a property management company. Yeah. Is that still running?
Yeah. So I parked it off for a minute. I'm gonna pick it up. Me and my good friend and colleague. We're gonna pick that up next year, April.
Is that what you're gonna share with us? How do we get in contact with you?
I'm gonna park that one, but I'll give you that information. Yeah. But no, because I'm not doing nothing with it at the moment. So next year, April, I'll plug it and
of course,
I'll let you know where to find us.
Well, Harry, good looking out, man. Sick of having that, man. Love,
man.
And that's it. End the interview. I can't sign out.